3 is Mrs. Silverthorne here, bringing you maths for Tuesday, the 19th of January. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen with you now. Okay, to kick us off straight away today, we are going to jump in with some TT Rockstars, so you need to pause the video here, go and log on to TT Rockstars, and for today, if you want to challenge me, you can. I love it when people challenge me because it means that I've got to do my practice too. So pause the video here, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, I hope you got on well with your TT Rockstars there. At the moment then, we are working on grid method. We're multiplying a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. Now, yesterday we looked at our steps to success, so I've chosen the same steps to success as we worked on yesterday together. So when we're looking at multiplying 16 by 8, I'm looking at step 1, which says that I need to partition the 2-digit number into the top 2 boxes. So the 1 of 16 is my 10, and it needs to go into my tens box. So just here, I'm going to write the number 10. And the 6 needs to go into the ones column. And then that means that I'm now on to step 2, which is where I put my number 8. It comes down here into the box underneath the multiplication symbol. Okay, now I can begin step 3, where I actually start multiplying. So for this one, I'm going to be doing 10 times 8. So I know my 10 times tables, but just in case, let's do it together. I'm going to count up in tens 8 times. So I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And that is the number that I put into this box here. Okay, and then I'm on to step 4, which means that I'm multiplying 8 times 6, or 6 times 8. That rule of commutativity means it doesn't matter which way round you do it. I'm going to do it in 8s. So here we go, I'm going to count them in 8 6 times. I'm going to go 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. And then that is the number that I put into the box here. Okay, now I'm actually on to my final step. So my final step is to add up my tens and ones answers to help me find the entire answer to 16 times 8. So I'm going to take the 80. Now, I'm going to use sandwich method here because 80 doesn't have any ones, but the number I am adding it onto does. So I'm going to put my 0 here from 80 because there's no ones in 80. Okay, and then the number I'm adding on is 48. So I put my 40 down here. Plus 8. There we go. So then I will need to draw my answer bar. Now, you might wonder why this time I've drawn such a long answer bar. Yes, I am writing slightly bigger than usual, but it's also because when you are looking at multiplying these numbers, sometimes they actually will then go into the hundreds. And if they will go into that hundred, that means you'll need a longer answer bar to be able to write it all down. So let's give it a try and see what happens. I go to my ones column, I'm going to do 0 plus 8. Oh, that one's okay, that gives me 8. Do my add sign. And now I'm going to do 80 plus 40. I start with 80 in my head, and I'm going to add on 4 tens, so I can count in tens, because I know that 40 is 4 tens. So 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Okay, so this one is done exactly that. So in order to make that work, I'm going to leave the 20 here from 120. And then the 100 is going to come down here and be a little fella in the cellar because I've exchanged it. And then there's nothing else left here to add. There was nothing in my hundreds column, so I can just write my 100 here. There we go. And then I almost need to unpartition it. So 100 plus 20 plus 8 will give me 128. There we go. I hope that all seems familiar from yesterday for you. So 128. There we go. So let's have a little look at another one. I want you just to have a think about what's different here. You may have noticed something is different about this calculation. You might have noticed that here, my tens will not be a 1 this time. It won't be 110. In fact, I've got 2. But the way we work it out is very, very much the same. We still follow the same steps to success. So the first thing I'm going to do is partition the 2-digit number into the top 2 boxes like I did do before. So this time, instead of just having 10 here, I've actually got 20 because there's 2 10s. There we go. And then in my ones box, I've got 3 1s. And my 5 does exactly the same as it would have done before. It comes down here into this box. So now this is where it starts to get slightly more tricky, because you need to be thinking about a related calculation. Now this has taken us back to some learning that we did last week. We looked at related calculations to help us calculate larger numbers. So let's look at this one. To be able to work out 5 times 20, which is my step 3, I'm actually going to look at 5 times 2. I wonder if you've picked up why I might do that. That's right, I'm doing it because 20 here is actually 10 times 2. So I can work this out by doing 5 times 2 first. That will make that easier for me. So I know 5 times 2 is 10. But then watch what I do here. So the 5 stays the same. But instead of multiplying it by 2 again, I'm going to multiply it by 20 because that's what I'm trying to multiply here. Now, because the 2 has now been multiplied by 10 to make the 20, I know my answer needs to be multiplied by 10 too. So exactly the same as we did last week, I know that 10 times 10 is 100. And that's what goes into my box over here. So I'm just going to write in my 100 here. Okay. Now the next step, I'm back onto step 4 again, okay? So this time I'm doing 5 times 3. So I'm going to count up in 3s 5 times. I'm going to go 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. My answer goes into this box here. Okay. I'm still on my track for my steps to success. I'm now adding up the answers that I've worked out. So I'm adding up 100 plus 15. Now, if you're feeling quite confident about your addition skills here and you want to just work out what 100 plus 15 is, you are more than welcome to do that mentally if that helps you. Or if you prefer to keep doing the sandwich method, then of course you may do that. I'm going to do it mentally because at the moment, I think I can work this one out without needing to write it down. And I think my answer will be 115. Okay, so this is a slightly different method. It's not that different. We just need to be very, very careful now when we are working out, when we're multiplying the tens. So we just need to do this little extra bit here to make sure we can show that related calculation. If you're able to spot that related calculation and work it out mentally, you are more than welcome to do that, or you can write it down to help you. It's up to you. Okay, so let's have a little look at this one. So I'll do this one again. I'll work through the steps to success, and I'm still thinking about what's different again. So you might have noticed this time it's 43 times 2. I'm still going to follow the steps to success though. So for number 1, I'm going to partition 43 into 10s and 1s. And so to show 43 as 10s and 1s, I would have 40. And I would have 3. And then the 2 comes down here into the box. Okay, now I'm on to step 3. So I'm multiplying the number in the 10s column by the 1-digit number. So for this one, I need to find another related calculation. So I'm doing 2 times 4. I'm doing 2 times 4. I'm taking the first number here, okay, from 40 to help me. So I know that 2 times 4, if I counted up twice in 4s, would give me 8. And then I can show my related calculation if it helps me. I know that I need to multiply by 40, so the 4's been multiplied by 10. Therefore, my answer needs to be multiplied by 10 too. And so that means my answer will then be 80. Okay, and now I'm back on track with my steps to success again. So now I'm doing 2 times 3. And I know that 2 lots of 3 will give me 6. So I can put that one in the box there too. Now, I'm back on step 5. So this one I'm adding it up. So I've ended up with 80 plus 6. Now, once again, you are more than welcome to work this part out mentally, because obviously I can see that this isn't really a method we would use sandwich method for, but if you feel like you need to and it helps your understanding, then of course you may. Okay, so 80 plus 6 I know will give me 86. There we go. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, so for this one, this is a we do one. So for a we do one, I'd like you just to pause the video here and give this one a try by yourself. Follow the steps to success and see how you get on, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to do it again. So pause the video and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, how did you get on? So did you look at the 57? And I wonder if you partitioned it as a 50. And a 7. And then following the steps to success, you would put your 4 down here. There we go. And then we're going to multiply. Now I'm still thinking about finding that related calculation here. So it is 4. So I take the 4 from down here. And instead of multiplying by 50 straight away, I'm going to think about a related calculation. So I take the first number there, which is 5. And I think about that first. So 4 times 5, that is going to give me 20 because I could count up, put in 5s 4 times, 5, 10, 15, 20. But then I want to think about the sum I'm actually trying to do, which is 4 times 50. So because I'm doing 4 times 50, the 5 has been multiplied by 10. Therefore, my answer gets multiplied by 10 too. And using that understanding we worked on last week, I know my answer is 200. Okay, brilliant. So I'm back on track. I am on step 4. So 4 times 7 or 7 times 4, I'm going to do it as 7 lots of 4 because that is easier for me. So I'm going to go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. And then I'm going to pop my answer in the box just here. Okay, there we go. Now for this one, there we go. You might want to consider using sandwich method for this one again, or if you want to do it mentally, you can. It is up to you, however you work this out easiest for you. I like to do a method if I find that actually I have ended up with more than I was expecting. So for here, I could do sandwich method. So I could do 200. There's no 10s in 200. There we go. There's no 1s in 200 either, so it's just 0. There we go. And then if I wanted to make it extra easy, I could then pop in my 28. So that would be 2, 0, plus 8. Be an extra long answer bar for this one. Hopefully you guys are still using your Rodney rulers to draw these. It makes your work look so much neater. There we go. And then I can add it all up from there. So 0 plus 8, lovely. 0 plus 20, easy peasy. And then 200, there's nothing there for me to add, so that's the same again. So 200 plus 0, give me 200. And then that's when you need to unpartition it to make, oh, there we go, 228. Did you get the same answer? Have a think. Did you need to do that mentally, or were you able to use the sandwich method? Let's try another one. Okay, so this one's slightly different. This one has the grid method already partially sorted out for you. Your job now is to think about what the missing numbers would be. So pause the video here and see if you can find out what those missing numbers are. Okay, how did you get on? So did you spot that the 10s were missing and that it wouldn't be just 1 10, it would be 6 10s, which would be a 60 in this box. And then when we were looking at this part, did you spot that 1 times 3 would just give you 3? Lovely. And then if you were to add that together, you could probably do that one mentally, I suspect. Your answer would be 183. Give yourself a big pat on the back if you got that up, but also have a think about how you work that out, because that is going to be very similar to what our gold task is today. Okay. Your silver task for today is to solve these calculations using grid method. And you need to remember to use a ruler to draw your grids. It will just help your work to be that much clearer for you and for the person reading it. So take your time with this one, because there are some where you will need to find a related calculation to help you. But pause the video here and give it a go. Okay, here's your answers. Have a little look through. tick through like we did yesterday. I quite liked how we did that, where you are ticking off each section of your grid that you got correct, so that then it will be much easier to spot if you've made any mistakes or where you might have gone wrong. If you haven't gone wrong, great, you've just got a page of wonderful ticks. If you have a little look. Are you able then to work back from that mistake and learn from it? If you want to try the gold task, let's carry on. Okay, so look at these calculations. I said that some would be coming up like this. Can you find the missing numbers to complete them? Pause the video here and give it a go. Okay, here's your answers. So were you able to spot what those missing numbers were on those grids? And were you then able to find out the answer? Pause the video here and see if you can tick off the ones that you got correct. If you're ready for another challenge, let's move on to platinum. Okay, your platinum task for today involves some digit cards. So your job is to make multiplication calculations to solve. So can you find calculations that have an odd number, an even number, an answer over 200, and an answer under 200? Pause the video here and give them a go. Okay, now I feel quite cheeky for this task because there are a whopping 144 possible combinations of calculation that you could have come up with. And number one, I don't have the space. And number two, I think it might take me quite a long time to work all of those out for you. So for this one, could you possibly show the work you've done to an adult and ask them to check your answers with you? Did you find one that had an odd answer? Did you find one that had an even answer? What about an answer over 200? How did you get that one? And what about an answer under 200? Your adult is allowed to use a calculator to help you with this. I don't mind that part. Okay, that's us for today. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you. Well done there, guys. It was a really, really good session today. I feel like that grid method's really going to do us good, but I'll see you tomorrow.